stuff out the way.
Hello, and welcome to the first official EncounterCon! You just got our special announcement from the wonderful Mitch and Mr. Smith, but now you have the first official game, and I'm going to hand over to our storyteller. I don't know what the title is in the system for today. I'm going to hand over to Cleric of Cord.
Hi, my name is Kat. I am at Cleric of Cord. I use she, her pronouns, and we are going to be playing Stille Nacht. I hope I got that right, Lydia. I've been practicing. Which is a game by Petra Volkhausen. If you're not following her on Twitter, you should. You can also find the game on itch.io. And just to give you a hint, soon it will be coming out in published form, not just downloadable PDFs. She's expanding, and you are in for a treat. I love this game. It's amazing, and I have amazing players because they are the best. They really are. So let's go ahead and go around and have everybody introduce themselves, and then we'll get started. So we'll start with Tom.
Hi, I'm Tom, TP Grant, and I'm very excited to be here. I use he, him pronouns.
And Anita.
Hi, I'm Anita. She, they pronouns. And again, very excited. Let's see what kind of spookiness we can get into.
Anna.
Hello, I'm Anna or Nymeria. Either is fine, and I use she, they pronouns.
Hello, I'm Charlie. I use she, her pronouns. I'm a counter roleplay. I will not be stopped. I am the conductor of the Chaos Chorus. And I'm also future Charlie today. Oh, thank you, thank you.
All right, so just before we get started, there is some content warnings for this game. This is a horror game. It is a game of it is a supernatural murder mystery. So please take care of yourselves. If you need to step away, do so. You can always check back in with the mods, and they'll let you know if a scene that has passed. We are using safety tools behind the scene. In our VMix chat, we have our Lines of Veils document, and we will be checking in with each other, and we have procedures in place if something should happen. With that said, let me explain to you why this is my favorite game. Because it is based on a historical event. When I first read the intro to this, it gave me chills, and I haven't been able to shake it. The historical background for Stille Nacht is the Christmas flood of 1717, which killed over 10,000 people as it hit the coasts of Germany, Denmark, and the Netherlands. In those days, the dikes that were meant to protect the villages and settlements were much smaller and far less sturdy in comparison to what people at the coasts built today. During the first half of December 24th, rough winds swept across the North Sea and its coastal regions, picking up in the afternoon. When they finally died down in the evening, the people thought themselves safe. The evening tide had only been slightly higher than usual. Everyone went to bed. Shortly after midnight, a hurricane rose in the northwest. As it began to bear down on the coast, it trapped the water of the evening tide and pushed it against the feeble dike constructions, higher and higher, even before the morning tide rolled in. And in the early hours of December 25th, the first dikes collapsed while most of the people were still asleep. In an account translated, first-hand account translated by Petra, here, one caught sight of frozen mothers with their babies in their arms, spouses tied to each other with ropes. There on the trees, ghastly corpses hung. The survivors had saved their lives, but nothing more than that. Their spouses, their parents, their sons, daughters, brides, brothers, sisters, friends, and acquaintances were gone. Gone their property, cash, cattle, supplies of peat, and all sorts of food. They stood there miserably like shipwrecked. Priests spoke of the wrath of God, while hunger and sickness claimed more lives in the weeks and months that followed. It is now the eve of December 24th, 1721. Cold and damp comes the wind from the sea. It carries with it a fog thick enough to cut through with a knife that settles around the houses and the muddy streets. The village lays quiet. Faint light seeps through the windows, but no one moves behind drawn curtains. Everyone is holding their breath. Not in pious anticipation, though. Many a holy name has slipped from cracked lips since sundown, but to ask for protection, not to welcome a savior in this world. Christmas Eve once more will be a night of death and terror for the inhabitants of this pitiful place. 4 years ago, the sea swept inland, overpowered the feeble dikes, and took whomever and whatever it wanted. Like precious driftwood, bodies lined the beach when the waters finally receded. Many, however, were never found. And although rites had been said and names written on wooden crosses to remember them all, there was something about this flood of 1717 that just would not let the souls of the dead rest in peace. And so they returned 1 year later, wandering the streets, entering the houses of their loved ones. The same happened the year after, and the year after that. Not all of these ghosts long to be reunited with their families, however. Some are seeking truth and justice. It is Christmas Eve. While all is silent, you make your way to an abandoned house on the outskirts of the village. A person calling themselves a medium has invited you there to take part in a conjuring. The haunting will come to an end. The ghosts rest in peace, so they promised. If only you are committed to speaking the truth and nothing but the truth. Ghost, they said. Singular. They know. They know you have been haunted by one soul only, year after year. You sit down at a table placed in the middle of an otherwise empty room. There are others here, all of whom you know well, some intimately. This is a small village, after all. You see tense faces, and you smell guilt. The medium's voice creeps through the room. You were all asked here tonight to bring an end to what has been an unnecessarily prolonged ordeal. I know that you have been visited by the same soul, someone who died a terrible death 4 years ago. But it wasn't the flood that killed them. All of you were close by in this poor soul's final moments. What each of you did, I do not know yet. But tonight we shall find out. You are in a small hut on the path to the village graveyard. Once it was the home to the gravedigger, but no longer. Here's where the dead lay wrapped in their shrouds to await burial. You've all been here before, some of you perhaps several times since that night 4 years ago. It is a scant few hours until midnight. Most of the villagers have retired to their beds, awaiting the specters that will haunt them and the tolling of a church bell from a steeple, from a church that no longer stands. 4 thick white candles burn on the center of the table. In the middle, a 4th candle. To one side, a lump of the hard-won Frisian salt from the peat. To the other, a bell. A low fire burns in the hearth, giving off little light and even less heat. Outside, the wind is rising, coming in off the ocean, bringing with it an icy rain. Yet the sound of the storm is oddly muffled as you enter. And who would like to be the first to enter? Who will be the first to arrive tonight?
I can be the first to arrive.
Please introduce yourself and tell us about your character.
I am Jacob Lupp. I am a tall, thin man with a narrow face, a tailor of a middling talent, but somewhat skilled at keeping the books. I was the business partner of the deceased. We had once a very profitable enterprise together. And I'll proceed in and find my seat in the circle.
Who will arrive next?
I will. My name is Anna Schmidt. I also with the deceased as a tailor and a seamstress in his shop. 29 years old, a little bit of a stoop, posture, really bony, long fingers. Come and take my seat.
Brigitte.
I arrive next. Usually the first, but apparently not today. I arrive with an assistant who I order to stay at the door and wait. It is not their business what will happen in these walls. I am well dressed, but my rouge is a little heavy, and the lines on my face betray that I am older than I am willing to accept. I still wear my hair long as a maid, but I am far from that. My name is Brigitte Mickle. I am 60 years old, and I am very curious the tales this ghost will tell.
And finally, Joanna.
Arriving just behind Brigitte is sort of not necessarily thin and gaunt, but more a little bit thicker in the hips. Woman with long brown hair sort of gives the assistant a little bit of a glance before stepping across the threshold. Very uncomfortable. Joanna Kramer, Milner by trade, 25 years old. The deceased was a lover of mine.
In the silence, as you sit there and look at each other, so you see these people almost every day. Perhaps you're aware of your connections. Perhaps you are not. At the head of the table is Frederick, a tall, spare man, the face of an ascetic. He arrived in town the week before, dressed in a well-worn but clean suit, carrying a number of books bound together, bound by a leather strap, and he carried a small satchel. An itinerant preacher, perhaps, or a scholar. He sought each of you out individually, inviting you here tonight. And now he sits at the head of this table, his back to the fireplace. The dim candlelight casting shadows, giving his sharply angled face a skull-like appearance. The warm light of the candles accentuates his pallor. And in a deep voice that rumbles, he addresses you. Honesty is your only way out. You will suffer tonight. You may die. But if you do, it is with the chance for redemption. Are we ready to begin?
Yeah?
Yes.
Join hands. And he holds up his hands. And as he sits back in the chair, leaning back, still keeping a hold of those hands, he seems to fade. There's a mist, a form, a hint of a face. Not quite sure. And while the features are hazy, you know this form. You know that face. You've been visited by them. every year for 4 years on this night. And once again now, they come to you, not individually, but together. The head slowly turns, and he looks at Jacob, and you hear in a raspy, thin voice, "What is my name?"
Your name is Luca.
He looks at the young woman with long brown hair. Joanna. How old was I at the time of my death?
You were 30, my love.
He turns to face Brigitte. Where was my body found?
You were found at work. Yes. In the shop.
And lastly, he turns to Anna. What were my daily chores? My chores, yes. What were they?
You assigned the piecework for us to do, approved cutting of fabric and tailoring on dress forms. You authorized purchase of fabric, threads, buttons, sundries. Every bit of the business had your handprints all over it.
I died 4 years ago, but my soul finds no rest. I drift aimlessly, year after year. I am pulled back here, and I wish to move on. Jacob, are you here to help me find out how I died so I may rest?
Of course.
And you, Joanna?
Whatever helps you find peace.
Brigitte, are you here to help me find out how I died so that I may rest in peace?
So that we might all rest in peace, Luca. Yes.
And you, Anna?
Yes.
And we will have our first verity check. Players, truth or lie?
Jacob enjoys a very period drink. Chin chin, friend. Chin chin.
Cheers.
For those in chat who want to tell their own ghost stories, we've just given away one copy of this game, and another will be offered before the end of the session. But you can find it by looking for Stille Nacht I apologize, Lydia. You tried, but I am old, and it is hard for me to learn things. The link will be down below if you're watching on YouTube, or it is over in chat right now if you are here with us on Twitch. And I do hear the Chaos Chorus stirring. Strange whispers. Strange indeed.
I believe you. I believe you want this as much as I do. But do not lie to me. Do not lie to me. And the ghost becomes solid. You no longer see, but you see before you Luca, as you knew him in life, as you saw him last, before he died. When lies are told, harm is done. Randomly, to someone at the table. Anna, take 1 harm. On the morning of my last day on earth, I was at church for morning prayers. Brigitte, why did our paths cross?
Our paths crossed because I was halted by a puddle. And as I stood gazing into that murky water, so I saw your reflection. And I clutched at my pearls, for even then I thought maybe you were a ghost. But no, it was you. And we greeted each other, and I asked you if my order would be complete on time. My granddaughter needs a dress for her christening, after all. And I do so like that lace. But we did have a deal, didn't we, Luca? Doesn't matter now. But we did have one.
Jacob, where did we see each other that morning?
We saw each other at the office. I was the one coordinating and working on Brigitte's order.
Anna, why were you and Jacob ignoring each other?
We had a bit of a misunderstanding, and I didn't want it to make things awkward at work. So I just kept my head down and got on with my tailoring. No more to it.
Joanna, where were you that morning?
I was was doing my normal duties, fixing hats. I had an order for another client that I needed to finish. But I was on my way to see you.
I do not yet remember our deal, Brigitte. Those memories are lost to me now.
Do you need a reminder?
Yes, tell me what was our deal?
Our deal was that you would make me the finest gown for my little niece for her christening. And you would do it at a discount, because you knew she's going to die. But that I would pay some small amount for that wedding dress for the village girl. Because you wanted to give her a better dress.
So I was a good man.
You are a better man than many.
And with that, a verity check. Truth or lies?
At the end of every one of these questions, we must tell the storyteller if we told a truth or a lie. And chat, I will be putting in a poll so you can decide which one of us ended dear Luca's life. We'll see if you're right.
I have warned you, all of you, tonight. Do not lie. Brigitte, I believe that we had the deal. I believe that I would make the gown, christening gown, in exchange for your generosity towards a wedding dress for another villager. Jacob, of course you were at work. You were always at work.
One of us needed to be.
Yes, yes. True. Perhaps not burning the candle hours before dawn and hours after sunset, though. Maybe you should have spent a little more time in church at your prayers as well. Anna, you did not tell me the nature of your misunderstanding from Jacob, but I believe that you were once again ignoring each other. You seem to both rub each other the wrong way. Butt heads, as it were, even more so than Jacob and I did. And Joanna. Working hard as always. At your shop, I believe you. You were there that morning. I believe that you were coming to see me. But at midday, when the church bell rang, Anna, I know I saw you, but I don't remember where. Where was I? What was I doing there?
Well, you came by the shop, of course. You talk of people being there, someone always needing to be there. To burn the candle early in the morning and late at night. Well, lest you forget, while I may not be one of the business interests in this shop, this work is my life's calling, and I was there. I was there long before you woke up to go say your prayers, and I would be there long after you fall asleep at night in your comfortable bed in that fancy house of yours. You came to see us at work. Not that I noticed, because I didn't look up from what I was working on. Too much to do.
Busy little bee. With your needle and your thread. Jacob, who else was with me? Was someone with me?
No, when I emerged from the office, I saw you and Anna speaking together. I'm sorry, Anna speaking together. I recall you two being quite engaged in the conversation. I assumed you were pursuing another distraction.
I had many distractions, did I?
Your attention wandered often from work.
One of the pleasures, is it not, of being an owner of your own business? Joanna, we walked in the marketplace, but it was so noisy there. Why was it so noisy in the marketplace? Christmas Eve, would have thought everyone was home or at work.
They were all... Everyone was trying to get last-minute gifts, and the butchers were busy getting their wares prepared for the dinner the next day. There was too many people. So you and I, we ducked into one of the side alleys, so we wouldn't be seen.
But I saw you, Brigitte. You were running home. Why? Why were you running home so quickly?
Well, it was rather foolish, really. I had thought to make small gingerbread men. I had mixed the dough and laid them cut them out into little pieces, decorated with sweet raisins. And I turned the oven on to bake. But then realized that every year I like to add something special to the mix. And for the first time I'd forgotten. And so out I went into the market and wandered amongst the stalls looking for an orange. Orange peel is a secret, you see. You're dead, so it doesn't matter if you know. And then I realized the oven was still on, still heating my house. And in my mind I had this terrible vision of coiling black smoke and flame. The house is all I have, really. Those walls, my remaining company. Save for when I have those little gingerbread men to entice my family to visit. It is Christmas. Or it was. I seem to lose myself in these memories. So I dashed. I ran. Unbecoming. Not my usual gait. Back through the market and down the lane. Towards my house on the hill.
Was it burning?
No, but there was that incredibly warm smell in the air. You tell us not to lie, Luca. Can we tell secrets?
Will your secrets help me remember? I want to remember. I need to remember what happened that day.
No, the secret is not for you.
For the priest, perhaps. Confession?
Perhaps.
Joanna, why did we hide?
Because we weren't supposed to be that kind of couple. You kept us secret from everyone in town. From your wife. You said we should go for a walk out in the open. Who was I to say no? The pretty young thing on your arm. You, 5 years older, giving me such wonderful attention.
Jacob, jealous of my distractions, were you?
No, rather, you got a bit excessive. How often could you just leave things to me to do?
Envious, then.
One of us ran the business, and the other was an obnoxiously talented tailor who never seemed to want to earn the station we actually attained. You did enjoy the trappings of it, though. I'll give you that.
At least I shared those trappings with others, instead of hoarding them to myself, huddled over my work. No life, no joy. Isn't that right, Hannah? Perhaps it was you who was jealous of my distractions.
"4 years and you still don't really know the first thing about me, do you?"
You're an employee, what should I know?
Go on, Anna.
"I know that you think that this was some sort of magnanimous offering that you gave me, offering me a job after losing everything in that flood. My family, my home, everything except for the skills that I had. But you believe me when I tell you, I would rather have died 4 years ago in that flood than spend one more day working in your shop. I would rather sew my eyes shut forever than have to look at your face again."
Well, aren't you the lucky one? Instead, I was the one that died that night. Your eyes are still open. You have not sewn them shut. You've seen me every year since then. Perhaps you did not hate my face as much as you say. Truth or lies? Midday. The church bells rang. I went by the shop. You were there, Anna. And you were there, Jacob, as you always were, both of you, working away. Things were going well. Progress was being made on the gown for Brigitte's niece, and for the wedding dress. So, Joanna, we met, as we often did, in the marketplace. On Christmas Eve, spend some time together. Before I had to go back to the house, my wife. Brigitte, always baking cookies, trying to entice your family back to you. Why is that, I wonder? Not important. I can remember. I remember clearly. I remember you. Do not lie to me. My memories are returning. in the early afternoon, Christmas Eve. The wind got so strong that the roof was blown off of the general store. Brigitte, you were there to help, weren't you?
As soon as I heard the crash, I made my way there. I had this terrible feeling. It's terrible, terrible. It was almost like a longing to go and see what had happened. To know. 'Cause something had happened. It was a crash unlike anything else. The world being ripped apart. But it was just the roof. All tumbled down and jagged. Cost a fortune to repair.
Anna, why did you not help?
Because I was angry with Brigitte. She had taken something that I worked very hard on, and I didn't feel like it after all that time.
Joanna, I was injured. The wind. How did I get hurt?
I believe you're muted.
You're muted.
Yeah. Kind of foolish, I suppose. You had come by to see me. We would go for another walk. And my hat that I was wearing flew off. You ran to catch it and tripped and fell, twisting your ankle. You shouldn't have ran for it. It was just a hat.
But I liked that hat, Joanna. You looked quite fetching in it.
It's
one of
gone
your
now.
own creations. I'm sorry to hear that. Jacob, there was a fight. Why? Why was there a fight? Who was fighting? I remember a fight, but I don't remember who, why.
You see, after checking on the general store, Brigitte came back to the shop. Worried, I think, about our own shop in the process of her order, and she encountered Anna. And quite the argument ensued. It was rather intense. I had to go... I had to intervene while you limped into the shop. And it was then that I believe Johanna also came into the shop a bit later.
Oh, yes. Anna, it seems you had difficulty getting along with many people. Knowing, Jacob, your disagreements, whatever it was between you and Brigitte. Say she took something from you. Most quarrelsome young woman. Joanna, that hat. That is how I remember you. That hat. So fetching. So pretty. Brigitte, your visions, always so many visions of horrible things. Your house burning. The world ending, things being ripped apart. Never a good vision. And yet, one might say that the world did end that night, did it not? Jacob. I wonder whose side you took in that argument.
I simply assured Brigitte that we would fully take care of the situation and deal with our erstwhile employee. This has been an ongoing problem, and this was the nature of mine and Anna's disagreement going back several weeks at this point.
Young girls are known to lie for attention. Whip up strange fantasies.
As are old women, are they not, Brigitte?
Not
one
so
wouldn't expect
often.
One wouldn't expect somebody who keeps such a detailed accounting of every single debt down to the penny owed would just be as light-fingered with someone else's hard work. But what do I know? I don't work there anymore.
No, you don't.
So you were able to salvage our business then. Good. It is good. Truth or lies?
An old woman searches through her mind to try and remember what she said. Who knows? Another poll will be coming up in chat. And in 30 minutes we shall give away another copy of the PDF. Let's tell ghost stories, darlings. Happy little ghost stories. Every time I hear that dice, I know that somebody lied. Chaos Chorus, I see you coming for me, and I will send you to bed without dinner.
Oh dear. I have such things to tell you all. Such stories.
You always were good at that. Oh, so many lies. So many lies.
Why must you lie? And Luca reaches out, and his hand, for a moment, clutches at Brigitte's throat. Long enough for her and then the hand moves.
Why?
Somebody lies. Someone lies. Someone will be punished.
I did lie.
I know.
I did steal. I did. Yes.
Would you like to confess to something else, Brigitte?
No.
Are lies your only sin?
One lie. One lie.
One harm to Brigitte. This is now the Luca you very much remember. The arrogance, the refined gentleman who sat hands steepled as he pondered you all. Even if he had to physically look up at you, he was still looking down his nose at you. Always judging. Joanna, that evening when the wind died down, it even stopped raining, I wanted to retrieve some gifts I had hidden away. With everything that had happened, I had forgotten them, to pick them up for my wife. Little things. Why did you interrupt me?
Because I wanted you all to myself, of course. We spent so little time together, so often. That I thought you might make a little time for me before Christmas.
Had we not already spent part of our morning together? Is it not enough for you? You wanted more? Of course, you. So pretty. How could I refuse you?
You always say that.
But something I lost that evening. There was something missing. Something disappeared. Something was gone, taken from me. Ricky, what was taken from me?
It was the veil. For that village girl's dress. It was what Anna said I had taken. We shouldn't lie. I am getting old, and I hate it. I deserve pretty things still. I deserve to be looked at and seen as more than the corpse that bore some children some time ago, than the corpse that carries money about the town to pay for all the little jobs, to help when people make mistakes, to buy and buy and buy hats and dresses. Yes, I deserve things. I still deserve things.
No, I'm sure you do. I deserved everything that I earned.
Maybe you did.
And I could pay for what I paid for it. You had
Yes, you
money, why
did.
not pay for it? You want something pretty, pay for it. That's what I did.
It's what you asked Johanna to do. Only what you ask a pretty girl to pay with is different from what you ask an old woman. And technically I did pay for it, didn't I? Our deal. You remember it now, don't you? Contribution for the village girl.
That was in exchange for the dress, not the veil. You had no right to the veil.
Nor did the village girl. What modesty had she to hide?
Jacob, you look so disappointed. That evening, not just now. What happened?
What happened was you lost a piece of our biggest order of the season. We know it was you that took the veil. You wanted to gift it to your pretty little Johanna, trying to blame it on Anna, irritate our best paying customer for your fun little distractions.
Interesting. Brigitte confesses to stealing the veil, and yet you accuse me of taking it. Stealing from our employee. Interesting. I wonder... Anna, you were still inside that evening. I saw you through the window. The wind had died down. It was no longer raining. Why were you still inside? Or were you still working? On Christmas Eve.
I have no one else but myself. I have nowhere else to go except for the shop, and can't even call it a home anymore, but let's just say that Brigitta's memories of making gingerbread men and everybody singing midnight mass does not exactly inspire memories of happy times for me. And if I cannot have that, then I choose to numb myself. It's better than the alternative.
What's the alternative, Anna?
Having to keep you company, of course.
Oh, yes. Yes, you were one of my distractions, as Jacob so coyly put it.
Wasn't enough, though, was it? No. No, it was never enough. But,
Anna, did I seem a man to you
how
that
was
would
it?
ever have enough?
How is it that you put it? You can't steal what you've already paid for. And you paid.
True. Oh, yes. I paid with my life. You are still among the living. All of you have your lives, your years, hope, time, a chance. What if you took that from me?
Luca,
Yes, Brigitte.
do you cling on because you're angry with us, or because you're afraid? Afraid of the judgment that God is going to offer you?
Whatever sins
Don't
I have
lie.
committed. Whatever sins I may have committed. Don't you think being tied to this earth, not allowed to move on, I would welcome whatever comes next. Perhaps this has been my punishment. But why should I suffer alone? You may confess. Any of you at any time. End this. Your suffering ends. My suffering ends. Tell
We're
the
not your
truth.
priests.
No.
It is extremely
Something less.
foolish of you to think that we could end any of this. Never ends, Luca.
Tell the truth and you can. Oh. Shall I come see you again next year? Would you like that, Anna? Do you miss me that much that you wait for Christmas Eve? For me to appear once more in your room?
The truth, Luca, is that you are an arrogant fool. You hold yourself as so superior to all of us, and yet you are the one who is dead, and we are still here.
As apparently I was in life, so I am in death. If I have no peace, neither will any of you. Truth or lies?
Alright, it's time for another vote. Throwing it out in chat. And in about 15 minutes, we'll give away another PDF.
And now we listen to dice fall. This is honestly my favorite part.
Just my anxiety spikes the minute I hear the clack. Normally that's a soothing sound for me, but not right now.
You know, I said that Luca was a better man than most. I retract that statement. He seems distinctly average.
With a family to go home to. Isn't that right, Brigitte?
Not any longer, Luca.
No. Only visiting the four of you. My wife. She is at peace. Jacob, in the early morning hours, when the water had already begun to flood our homes, I, of course, was not asleep like so many still were. I had actually on my way to the shop. The flood waters rising. I felt that somebody needed to go salvage what we could from the rising waters. After all, there was money bound up in those things. If we didn't want to have to start all over again. Where were you?
I was already there when you arrived, doing much the same. As usual, you came to the correct conclusion a bit late.
I had my family to take care of first, to make sure that they were safe, the rising waters.
Ah, yes, I'm sure you were spending the night with your family.
Well, it was Christmas Eve. Anna, why did you wake up before the floods came?
Part of a large family. My parents, husband, our 2 children, my brother and his wife, nieces, nephews. Everybody had all gathered together. It was going to be the first time we'd all seen each other in one place since my brother's wedding. And the water rising, I told them, it's all right. You go ahead, secure everything on the farm, watch out, get to high ground. I'll go to the shop. We have big orders, need to be packaged and prepared, saved, just in case. The next time I saw them, they were laid out on the floor of the church. Just looking at the ceiling.
Joanna, my pretty, my love, why were you sleepless that night? Hours of the morning.
Because there was something I needed to tell you. So I rushed out of bed as soon as the water started. I tried to save the hats that I could, but many of them, my equipment, damaged, beyond repair, already. But then, my thoughts went to you. Where were you in all this? Of course you'd be at your shop. So I made my way. Because if the world was ending, I might as well tell you the things that I felt. Before it was too late.
Brigitte, what does a lonely old woman pray for before going to bed on a night like that?
The same thing any lonely person prays for. God's forgiveness when she eventually finds some company. I did not pray that night before I went to sleep. I wrote a daydream down, and I cast it into the fire in the hearth and watched it as it burnt. Luca, do you feel the end drawing near? You almost appear to be fading for us. Ah, there you are. Back. You had a question.
Can't get me that easy. I did. Was that daydream another one of your visions of tragedy and horror? Were you already seeing the town swept away by the floodwaters, the dead, the church gone?
Will you strangle me again if I lie?
You or someone. Perhaps
No.
even the body of this person sitting here in this chair. No one is safe.
What I wrote was not a terrible vision of trauma, death. It was nearly a Midsummer Night's Dream, in fact, of green days and fading light. That strange golden fading light that comes when the air is still warm and the world smells sweet. And I wrote the name of the lover I dreamt of. And I watched the dream burn away.
What fools you mortals be with your dreams. Truth or lies?
And as my dream had burnt away, to sleep, perchance to dream again.
Interesting. Interesting. Your honesty is appreciated. Shortly before I died, I'd gone to the shop to salvage whatever I could from the floodwaters. There was a bright flash of lightning. Almost the last thing I remember. Lightning as it struck the church steeple. My vision went white. The world exploded in light and noise and pain. And then nothing. Only darkness. It was cold. It was still very cold. All of you were there. Why did you not prevent my death? Jacob?
I was not aware you had died until after it happened. A flash of lightning distracted me. We had separated out into the shop to make the most effective search and retrieval. It wasn't until after the lightning strike that I found you dead.
Brigitte? Why did you not prevent my death? Was there something you couldn't you have done? Something? Brigitte.
I'm sorry, I briefly forgot what my name was. I was daydreaming of
old
other
women.
things.
Another young lover, perhaps.
Wouldn't you like to know, Luca? I'm sorry, what was your question?
No, not really. Why did you not prevent my death?
Oh,
You were
that.
there. You could have warned me. Yes, the reason why we're here.
Maybe I just wanted to see someone die. Passion is a powerful thing. And it can be wielded to heal, to create, as skillfully as it can be wielded to destroy. I am old and have seen many things, but the destruction of a man, destruction instead of fading, that was something I had not seen before. I haven't asked myself why until now. A good question, Luca. A good question.
Joanna. You could have prevented my death. You were there. Why didn't you?
Because we had already spoken. Because I asked you to let me go. And you wouldn't. You always kept saying I was so pretty. I was so pretty. I was just like my hats. Pretty, beautiful to look at, but empty on the inside. I wanted you dead. But I was not the one who killed you. No. I wanted to. I grabbed the scissors. I was there. I was ready. And you said I didn't have the courage.
Somebody else did your dirty work for you. Was it you, Anna? Why did you not prevent my death? Perhaps you're the one that took it?
You really don't remember?
No. I did not see who it was.
The truth is, and I've been honest with you this entire time, save one thing. The truth is, I didn't prevent your death. Because I thought getting rid of you would make me happy again. You took everything from me. I lost my family because I went to your shop to save merchandise. At least then I would have had my reputation, I would have had my job, but no, you took those too. And I, like a fool, thought if I could even the scales, make everything balance out right in the end, can't steal what you've already paid for, and you know what I paid. You know what I gave you.
Yes.
Then at least we could be on even terms. And the sick thing is that without you to hate, I have nothing left.
Except my yearly visits. My death is the fault for your misfortunes. We all suffered. Everyone suffered. Everyone lost. Know this. If the murderer does not confess tonight, I will see you again. And again. Every year. Until you join me in death. Because if I cannot have my peace, neither can you. Truth or lie?
And as we cast our truths and lies, and you cast your votes in chat, don't forget to enter the giveaway to win a copy of this amazing ghost story game. Or you will be haunted every year on this day with the regret that you did not type !loot into chat to have a chance to win this tome, this TTRPG by Petra.
The ghost stands, pushes back from the table. Walks to Brigitte.
Not again.
No, not again. You'll be with me soon enough. Soon you'll know what it is. The wait's on the other side. Anna, you silly, foolish girl. Blaming everyone but yourself for your misfortunes and your problems. Joanna, my pretty. You're pretty.
Don't call me that.
And I did care for you. I truly did. Jacob. Say it. Say the words, Jacob.
You want me to confess?
Yes.
I confess I watched you die. It happened right in front of me. It was not me, though. I had no reason to stop it. It's the best thing that happened for our business. And you are so intent on blaming everyone. What did you say to Anna? You blame all your misfortunes on others. Do you not see that these were your own seeds that you sowed happening? Why should I intervene when you caused all of this to happen? So yes, I watched you die, and I waved goodbye, and I smiled. But I didn't kill you.
But you lied. And the ghost reaches out and takes Jacob's head in his hands. And you can all see him become shrouded in this cold fog and this mist as he begins to age.
No. Stop.
The ghost releases
He was
him.
there. He was there.
Take
there.
2 harm.
Said that was true. It was me. It was me. It was me, and I can't say that I regretted it, but I have regretted waking every morning the 4 years since this happened. Because like I said...
No.
There's nothing left now.
Anna, you are a foolish girl.
Ricky. Anna, I need to know if that is a truth or a lie. If your confession is a truth or a lie.
She looks to Brigitte. Foolish, perhaps, but honest. Every word.
Really, though?
The ghost believes you. And you see Luca walk to Anna, takes her by the hand, and rises her up to her feet, and embraces her.
Stop! It was not her.
Take 2 harm, which I believe takes you to 3.
Yep.
And you watch as her body collapses lifeless to the floor.
Anna.
You damned fool of a ghost.
You're still a bastard, Jacob.
She confessed.
Luca.
You arrogant son of a bitch.
You are now free, as am I. This will be the last time you see me.
Good.
Good.
Go to hell, Luca. I hope you burn there.
I hope
Perhaps.
he goes someplace worse.
Back here. And Luca stands once more and walks through the door and becomes mist, leaving the 3 of you sitting there, and his lifeless body collapsed next to a chair. And Frederick, the medium, the man you had forgotten about, as he sits upright.
You summon her back. Find a way.
I cannot.
It's a lie.
You were warned. You were warned, were you not?
We were, but that does
You were
not mean
warned
there is
it
no way
happened.
back.
You may try to summon her spirit, but I cannot. It is gone. It went with him. Merry Christmas, all. And with that, he stands, blows out the center candle, leaving just the 4 candles at the cardinal points in the middle of the table. Puts on his coat and walks out the door, leaving you all to your final thoughts.
We must find the preacher, find a man. Someone must know.
Is your servant still at the door?
I told him to wait.
This is a terribly awkward situation. I think we should have him summon the constable and tell him that the medium has killed somebody.
Maybe. Wait, we need a 4th, but if we join as we did, we can summon her. How hard can it be? A simple man like that could do it. God must owe us a favor.
I think she
Jacob's
said all she
gonna
needs to.
Jacob's going to stand and straighten his shirt and say, I think we've had it nicely demonstrated. God owes no one favors. I consider this matter closed. Good day, ladies. Or good evening, ladies. Merry Christmas. He's going to walk out the door as well.
And you? Johanna? You are
Why didn't you
done?
do it? Why didn't you confess? You kept saying you're an old woman and your time is nearly up. Why didn't you just confess?
I think I wouldn't have minded so much his soul wandering, knowing forever that he would never know. Because he missed the most important question, didn't he? It's not who, it's why. Why did he deserve to die? Because he did deserve it, didn't he? That's the proof of tonight. For 1,000 reasons we discussed, he deserved it. And we discussed the price of things, didn't we? You should go home, Johanna. It's a cold night. There is a new life to live now that the old wreckage is gone.
Brigitte. There's always a
Yeah.
cost. Anna shouldn't have had to pay it. And she'll stand up and she'll leave.
And Brigitte will go to Anna's body, stroke back her hair, straighten up the hat or the scarf. We made a deal, God and I. I'm a young woman trapped in an old woman's form. And I asked him last night if I could satisfy one ghost, bring one spirit peace, would he bring mine peace too? And now I see it. He's giving me a new life, a new chance. just find a pathway between this body and yours. Merry Christmas, Brigitte. You will be young and beautiful again, and you won't waste it. And she cradles the body in her lap.
And as Brigitte cradles the body in her lap, a church bell tolls from a church that no longer stands. And in the quiet, and a new spirit speaks. Anna,
she's back to very small sort of family plot in the churchyard as the non-existent bells continuing to toll in an incorporeal, insubstantial form, albeit sort of stands quietly over graves where you see the names Johannes, Clara, and Franz Schmidt. One man whose life ended in his early 30s, and 2 children under the age of 10. She kneels down to the grave, presses her hand into the snow. If you see the churchyard area, there's a slight indentation there until the falling flakes fill it back in again.
and with that, our story ends. Thank you, players.
Whew. Thank you, Kat. What I'm going to do for a moment is I'm going to run one of our channel trailers, but we will be back immediately afterwards. We're going to do a debrief. We're going to chat about the game. A lot of us played this for the first time today, so we have a lot of thoughts, and we'd love to hear yours. Congratulations to Celeste and Lonka, who won our 2 PDFs today. Please go and check out this fantastic game. It has been a real blast to play here on stream for you. And honestly, can we just go again? Can we just cram in another game, please? I'm not done yet. All right, I'm going to run the wonderful trailer for our new show starting next week, One Shot Wednesdays. So we will see you in about 40 seconds.